As ages pass, books are acquired. It has been about a month since the last book haul, and I have received some books, so we're going to talk about them and show them. Straight to the point, I like it. First up, we have The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. Now, this just came out in paperback in October. I think it's been out for about a year now, but I was waiting for it to come out in paperback to match the rest of the set. They have to match. Overall, I've heard amazing things about The Lost Metal. It seems to be the most Cosmere tie-in Mistborn novel, which is very exciting to read. I still need to read Bands of Mourning and then The Lost Metal, but I'm hoping I will read these probably towards the end of the year, maybe January. We'll see, but I do want to get completely up to date with the Cosmere, especially when Stormlight 5 is dropping next year. I need to be ready for that. And I think aside from these, I need to read Elantris, and then I'm completely up to date. But now I've got the full Mistborn set, so I'm a happy boy. I'm a happy boy. Sticking in Sandoland, my copy of the Sunlet Man has arrived as well. This is absolutely stunning. This is the first of the secret projects with sprayed edges, which I think is really interesting. But I do think that this matches the narrative and the story really well with this burning land and the fact that this is blackened edges, like it's been burnt. I'm kind of sad that this is the last of the secret projects, but I'm really happy that this was the last one. I loved the book. I did a full video if you want to see my thoughts on it, but overall, I really enjoyed it. It was probably on a par with Tress. It was Tress, Sunlit Man, or probably second. Yumi was still my favourite of the four, and Wizards was probably at the bottom. I love this cover, and it's really a striking red, and all the inlays kind of catch the light really well to make it look like a sun. Just like all the others, the interior formatting is also beautiful. I love the way that these Kickstarter books have been formatted and are laid out. And the art in this one is stunning as well. The art has been amazing in all of the books. Next on up, we have Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. Now, Daniel Green recommended this in the big booktube spooky recommendation video that I did at the start of October, and I did plan on making a video on this, but October kind of slipped away, so I didn't get the chance to read it. However, I am glad that I've got this copy, and I do plan on reading it. I don't know much about it, but Daniel did say this is a good story to go in blind. So when the goblin tells you to read a book, you read the book. Plus, I know that this is a horror book, but this really derpy cover just made me laugh and smile, and I really like it. Oh, I think that's a horse from like a merry-go-round, isn't it? I'm just noticing that now. I just thought it was a derpy horse. Well, there you go. We're figuring things out. I also know that Murphy read this year and said it was really good. So it's definitely one I want to pick up. I'll probably read it before next October. I don't think I can wait that long. Next we have Retribution Falls. Oh, it is the right way. Yes! It's 50-50 if that was going to be upside down or not. Retribution Falls is by Chris Wooding, who is the author of The Ember Blade, which if you've watched at least a couple of my videos, I will no doubt have mentioned it in one of them. This is one of my favourite series of all time, and I loved this. I really enjoyed the sequel as well. Not as much as the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. But there can be a bit of a wait between Chris Wooding's books, because he does also write for video games. He wrote part of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So as we settle in for the Darkwater Legacy Book 3, I thought, why not try one of his other works? And as soon as I read the synopsis for this, steampunk pirates with airships, I immediately was sold. This is another one I'm probably going to read during the holidays, because I think this will be a really fun, just light, fun read. It sounds incredible, but I don't see that many people talking about it. So if you've read Retribution Falls, please let me know what you thought, because I'm really looking forward to reading it. Steampunk pirates! Next on up we have... right way up again, yes! Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan. This isn't like multiple takes, that was the first take and it was the right way up. This is the October subscription for the Broken Binding. I am now a Broken Binding representative, so they did send me this book, just for full transparency. However, if you've been on the channel, you know that I've talked about them since the channel started, so needless to say, I'm a big fan of their stuff. But the Promise of Blood, I've had on my TBR for a while. As soon as I heard guns in fantasy, hell yeah. I am here for guns in fantasy. That sounds great. And the fact that the Powder Mage trilogy has gunpowder as part of the magic system, that sounds awesome. That sounds so cool. And this edition, I know I say this every time, but Broken Binding, their editions are always stunning, but one thing that I haven't mentioned before is how different each one of their subscription books are. Each one, you can tell that they've spent the time to design those books individually. They haven't just created a template and then they're going to throw it on every single book that they release. Each one is slightly different in their own way. They use different materials for the dust jackets and the actual hardcover itself. Like this one is the first time they've done a full illustration on the hardcover, and it looks absolutely stunning. It looks so good. I love what they've done with this edition, especially with the naked hardback. But of course, the sprayed edges are beautiful too. Broken Binding also sent me Gods of the Weirdwood. Why did these keep landing the right way up? Are they like weighted at the bottom? That's chaos theories. It's the only answer. The Gods of the Weirdwood is the first book in a new trilogy from R.J. Barker, the author of the Tide Child trilogy. I had my eye on this when it released and I was planning on keeping an eye on the reviews, and then Matt from Matt's Book Reviews did a glowing review of it and I thought, well, I'm going to have to read it then, aren't I? It sounds incredibly dark and atmospheric, and I believe it has a snowy landscape as the setting, so I think it'll be a really good winter read. I love the vines on sprayed edges, that just looks so good. Also, in the praise for the author includes words from Robin Hobb, John Gwynne, James Islington, and Adrian Tchaikovsky. You know it's going to be a book worth checking out. Next up, I really don't want to throw this one because it's a heavy hardback and it'll hurt. So the Uzumaki, that was a little bit of an anticlimax, but it's Uzumaki, that's the next book. There we go. This was my main October spooky read and I did a full video on it, so if you want to see my full thoughts, I actually spent a lot of time on it, so I'd be grateful if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend. This is also the first manga I have ever read. I believe it's a bit of a non-typical place to start with, with Junji Ito and his horrific, disturbing book, Uzumaki. However, I had a great time with it. I really enjoyed this book overall. The artwork was disturbing, unsettling, it made you see spirals in your real life, and it's a story that really sticks with you after you've finished it. It's such a bizarre, unique, but very interesting story that you just want to talk about because it's so weird. So I did a full video on it. You can check that out if you want to know more of my thoughts. But overall, I loved it. And after finishing Uzumaki, I thought, oh no, do I like manga now? So I thought, right, because I enjoyed Uzumaki that much, I'm going to try another manga. There were two mangas that really jumped out to me. One was One Piece, fun seafaring adventure. I've mentioned my love for seafaring adventures before. And also Berserk. I don't really know much about the synopsis of Berserk, other than it's a guy called Guts with a really big sword and it's meant to get dark and it's got really cool fantasy and it's meant to be really emotional, which all sound like things I'm here for. But because I don't really know what my manga taste is yet, I've only read Uzumaki, I thought, I'm going to do a poll. And I tell you what, it was really close. All morning for the first like 4 or 5 hours of the poll, One Piece and Berserk were battling it out. It was pretty much the exact same for the first 5 hours. I was watching it thinking, this isn't helping one bit. And just a quick note, there was lots of comments of other manga that I would really like to try, Vinland Saga being a big one. However, because it won the poll, I got this absolute tome. This book is huge. I saw the pictures online, but I did not think that this was going to be as big and hefty as it is. This is the deluxe edition, so I believe it's more than the first volume, and I do really want to film my reading process of this as well. But I don't know how to review or make videos on manga. Would you prefer me to do a video on this, or should I do it in arcs of the story? I know a lot of manga people review it on the individual arcs of the overarching story. For all I know, this might actually be an arc of the story. I'm not sure. I do need to look more into it before I start reading it. However, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I probably will read One Piece eventually as well. And that'll do it for today. Please let me know what book mail have you received recently in the comments below. This video is a little shorter than usual. This wasn't the video that was originally planned for today, but I had to shuffle about the schedule a little bit. But there's two really exciting videos coming out next week, probably Thursday, Sunday, and I'm also on a chat with Tori over on her channel, Tori Talks, on Thursday night. Yes, Thursday the 9th at 10 PM UK time. So come check that out. It should be a really fun chat. You can drop some questions in the comments if you have any. Nothing too complicated, because thinky no good. This is why I cut together videos, because thinky no good, together thinky. You need thinky, break, thinky again. Doesn't work on live. But thank you very much for watching. Outro. Yeah.